Hey there, it's Raven Scry here today to bring you a crypto update for July. Anything that Spirit wishes to share or show around the month of July for crypto. Okay, so before we start, this is certainly not financial advice. You've always got to follow your own heart and your own intuition. Okay, so connecting in now to July, asking that Spirit blends with me to bring through the most important information that needs to be heard. Okay, as I connect to July, they're talking about lower levels. They're talking about some sort of movement down here into uncharted territory is the wording that they use. Now, interestingly, they're referencing something connected to America, San Francisco, some sort of an event affecting this in some way, and they're also talking about Stockholm Syndrome. I just paused the video for a moment to look up Stockholm Syndrome, which describes the psychological condition of a victim who identifies with and empathizes with their captor or abuser and their goals. Okay, well, keeping that in mind, we're going to continue on. Okay, so connectedness to this element of Stockholm Syndrome, this element of something going on within the San Francisco area, affecting some sort of loss here. Now, I feel like this could be on the outskirts of the interconnection here in some way, but just to leave that, and we'll move along. Now, within this event they talk about, there is this element of energy around the throat. I feel as though it's like they're showing me hands around the throat and some sort of suffocation. It feels like smoke inhalation around this also. So they're just talking about some sort of event in July in connection with San Francisco, and there being elements of smoke, suffocation, hands around the throat. Now this could be, could be more of an energy than it is an actual event, but it does feel quite graphic in the way it's being shown. So now I'm hearing chokehold, so I feel as though it is both. And I'm just getting a visual of like a metal chokehold around somebody's neck. Now, again, I feel like this is connecting into this whole Stockholm Syndrome. It feels like a bad kind of movie, the undertones and psychological levels going on here in how it's being shown. Now, I'm hearing there's some sort of sync going on in crypto in connection to this. And I'm feeling this sinking feeling. And it's like the ground beneath me is slowly dropping. And I'm seeing elements now in the earth of water flooding into the soil. Now I feel like this is the nature of the energy here. It's like as this earth moves down, there is this water that's flooding in as it's sinking, and it's looking and feeling quite muddy here. But I am hearing the sun will shine again, so it's almost like it looks worse than perhaps it is. Now they talk about, they're wanting to talk about a winter that it's always raining. And, in winter time, if it's just raining and grey clouds and crappy weather, you just think, God, it'll never move through. We're going to be in this forever. The feelings can make you feel that. But it's certainly the nature of the way this will feel, but it will move through is what they're wanting to say. So it just really makes you feel like you're in the thickets of something that's not going to shift, but it does. And so will come out and it feels somewhat lighter. Now, they're also showing me reference to a ship. And it's interesting because I have had reference to the Titanic in the past in readings. But again, they're showing me the Titanic and they're referring to riches on this ship, and they're stored underneath the deck. And they're showing me all these like little, rubies and sacred, beautiful jewels that are underneath this ship on the deck, well, underneath the deck. And it's like people are running around on the top deck in this flurry, and it's like, it's as if the ship is sinking, but it's not necessarily sinking. It's like there's all this running around and worry and fear and sort of just this chaotic energy that's coming through. But there is still, the Spirit's wanting to say that there's still these riches on it. And it's like there's all this chaos within this scene, but there's still riches there. It's like, don't get lost in that chaos is kind of the energy that's coming through here with it. And it's taking me back to this scene of this sinking dirt, and it's reminding me of it. It's like somehow connecting to that scene. It's like it pulls down, but as it pulls down, there's this chaotic energy. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of people chasing their tails is kind of how it's coming through. So I feel as though on some level, the ship that is sinking is somewhat of a structure or system that's being broken down or left behind in some way. Now they're referencing leaving the shell behind. It's like shedding a layer of something and leaving that behind. And they're also talking about an event where something large breaks or sinks. And they're wanting to bring through, though, that crypto riches still remain. They show me this ship. Whether something is up higher or lower, there is still riches on this ship. But there is this system that is changing, and a system that is going to completely change on some level. Now, I feel like this is in regards to structure or infrastructure of crypto that will be left behind. Now, I also feel like this can be on a larger scale to view this. So, you may be in July and think, this whole infrastructure is going to break down in that month. Well, not necessarily. That's not really what I'm saying. It's building to something. So if you looked out from a further perspective of a year, or you'd be like, okay, you see the movements of what's taking place. But there is prominent connection here in July. So there is a large change that's taking place here. And they're talking about a global economic eruption follows, people chasing their tails, financial corruption, madness and chaos. So it's like there is these levels of fear that are coming in and you can't see straight, and the collective is going crazy in fear, chasing its own tail, worrying, spitting out all sorts of information. But really what remains is the riches are still there, is what Spirit is wanting me to share. Now they show me the top of this sinking ship. It's like something's going to break. Okay, we've got the sense of that. And I ask, is this in July? And it's like I feel as though it's leading into this catastrophe where things are getting chaotic parts of the cycle where you can't see straight. It's like what they show me is like, so many people running in circles and all the energy is so chaotic that it's almost like you can't see through the energy to the clarity. There's just all this mess that's repeating itself in the collective. Now, they're saying we're going to start seeing it in July, but it's as if on some level it's building up. Now, I'm being shown a coiling snake. Now, I know there was a reference of the snake in the last month's reading and this kind of energy of being able to sit with being in a snake pit and not make a move, not act impulsively. Now we've got this snake here again. It's coiled up and it's moving into propelling up suddenly. It's like it's coiling, and this energy of propelling its coming. And it's like the energies are all overlapping here. And this is at the time where the people are chasing their tails as well. It's like this chaotic energy, but it's a moment of pressure in the energy. So we have this kind of sinking element, the waters are coming in, and there's the element of the ship that's sinking and the jewels on the ship, and there's people running around on the decks. It's chaotic. And it's like, oh, doomsday, everything's going to be, broken. And it may well be that things break, but in that there's also this pressure that is building up within this snake energy to just go, to explode forth, and it is quite an explosion in the way that this comes through this energy. So it's like all of these scenes are overlapping in this time that's coming up in July and moving forward through July. So the space is very muddy and a lot of overlap here, and it's hard to differentiate with time also. It all feels very connected, like it's all happening at once. And really I ask Spirit, is there anything more that they wish to show? They keep taking me back to this sinking ship with the riches on it. And they remain on it, whether it's sunken or whether it's, floating. These riches remain, is what they're saying. Now, I feel as though something is coiling up a lot as we move through July, and I feel as though, it's almost like I connect into August, I start to feel movement up. Now, that may change, but from the trajectory that's being shown here, they're showing positive movements through whatever takes place in July. So there's a lot in that reading, but it does feel somewhat squashed and compressed into the collective energy. So it's very important to not act on the fear again, because it's almost like it's going to feel like more pressure is building up. And, you may have felt like there's been pressure in June, but July might feel a bit more like, oh, it's even squeezing a little bit tighter. So just, keep your cool, stay centered. It's very important. And I feel like we're going to look back at this time, in history, and we're going to realize just what was unfolding. Because it's like Spirit keeps taking me out, because I focus into the picture, into the specifics, but they're wanting me to zoom out to be able to actually see what they're talking about. Because it's like you may not understand what they're talking about in that moment. There needs to be more space and time to be able to see and have more overview. So certainly don't act in haste. Again, vision may seem somewhat limited to be able to see, to be able to make decisions for your highest good. So it's stay centered and realize there's a great deal of pressure coming in here and things won't seem clear. So just keep that in mind. Okay, I'm going to leave it there for today's reading. I wish you all well in July in regards to crypto. It does feel like we're building into something quite special. So take care, don't do anything crazy, always follow your own intuition, your own heart, and your own knowing, because that's the key. That's what you need to be following. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you soon. Raven Scry signing off.